A very good evening and a big welcome to UBC News at 8. It is the 15th day of February 2021, a day after Valentine's Day. Welcome. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto with the news today. Now we start with our first headlining story. This evening, police has warned those disrupting transport in the country using sirens illegally. Traffic officers have been empowered to implement this directive to restore sanity. During a security briefing at the police headquarters in Naguru, it was disclosed that it is unlawful to use numberless vehicles to conduct any activity under the laws of Uganda. We have the report.
Uganda police has distanced itself from using vehicles without number plates to arrest criminals. The Director of Traffic Police, Lauryn defines abductions as isolated cases whose investigations are ongoing.
The law does not allow a person to drive a numberless vehicle in town. And in case you are coming from somewhere and the number plate falls down, you lose it, you quickly go to the nearest police, report, and the police will give you a form that you must proceed to the licensing office and process a new number plate.
Accordingly, if not well regulated, the tortoise-drawn type of vehicle might become a challenge to handle in the country.
Many of these vehicles are new in this country. And when they are getting imported, they come with funny small plates fixed in front and sometimes not fixed in the hind or the rear. They are not fixed. Now, at times, those small plates fall off and you see them on the highway. And no wonder, many of your complaints refer to the highways where these drones are.
Security has also directed private security companies and individuals to disable sirens planted in their vehicles or else face the long arm of the law.
And these sirens are on vehicles of private security organizations and private vehicles. I want to appeal to those who are driving those vehicles to immediately disable those sirens before traffic police gets them.
Meanwhile, Police Counter-Terrorism Department has cautioned the public against terrorism threats as witnessed during the civil riots last year.
But surely we shall catch up with those people who are misusing the social media to misguide our people by negative propaganda, talking about involvement in terror activities.
Karamoja and Sebei sub-regions are key security areas of interest since cattle rustling has resurfaced. Abdul Nasser Lubwama, UBC News.
Now, the Ugandan National Examination Board has started conducting music practical examinations today, in addition to home economics practical, French oral examinations, which also started with German oral examinations. These are special examinations with separate timetables that are conducted by UNEB before the theory examinations due to their nature and tasks. They are done at both A and O level by the candidates concurrently. UNEB Principal Public Relations Officer Jennifer Kalule says the papers started smoothly, although in Sebei, a student who had registered in Kapchora Secondary School had to do the food and nutrition paper and a home economics failed to turn up. Another incident is where two students of St. John Baptist Memorial Secondary School who were expected to sit for home management examination and a home economics failed to pick instructions.
Special examinations because they take quite a long time. It's not like a 2-hour paper or something like that. Let me give an example, for instance, of the home economics. the candidates have got to be, they have to get the instructions earlier, they do their shopping. It depends. There are three different, the subject is home economics, and there are three different papers. One is food and nutrition, and this is basically about, preparing foods. And then there's home management, which is about taking care of a home, and then there's clothing and textile. So they actually have to do them practically, and then the examiners mark them there and then. Timetable, for instance, you find that on a day we may have about maybe 6 or 7 centers doing examinations on a day, and then the following day other centers are also doing, because we have the same examiners moving around to do the marking. So you cannot do this with all the other general examinations. The same applies to music. The candidates actually have to sing, to do the practicals. They do the music. Could do, like, for instance, 2 African songs. For French and Germany, the candidates also have to do the orals, and mainly they're looking at the pronunciation of the words. You find that, for instance, in French, not all the words, the way the words are spelled is not the same way that the words are pronounced. So a center has maybe 2 candidates or 5 candidates, at most 10 candidates. That is if, like for home management, for instance, home economics. And in that case, if there are many, they would have to have maybe 4 of them or 8 of them will do an exam a day or something like that. And then the following day, another set does their examination. So it's easy to do the social distancing for them. And our examiners, we equip them, we give them the basic things, like making sure they have the masks and they have the hand sanitizer, and they observe the SOPs. So it's not yet read. So at least in terms of observing the SOPs for these ones, so far it is good. I received information from Captura, but that we have a candidate who did not turn up for some reason, and our team there is trying to identify the candidate. Either they lost interest or they did register for the paper, home management paper, and they have not turned up. So you're wondering why haven't they turned up? We're supposed to do the paper today, and they haven't turned up. However, we still have an option of them doing the paper until the 25th of this month. So that the children have, they have what they need for safety management, and the schools also have to work hand in hand with the parents to make sure they provide what is required. We have been told, for instance, that nutrition is very critical, so we are urging the parents, for instance, and the schools to work hand in hand and make sure that our children are well fed during this period, so they have a strong immunity and they are not vulnerable to acquiring the COVID-19.
The Anglican Church is set to celebrate the 44th Janani Luwum Day tomorrow, the 16th of February 2021. The day's activities, whose theme is Life in its Fullness, derived from the book of John, chapter 10, verse 10, will take place at State House, Entebbe. The scientific ceremony will be presided over by President-elect Yoweri Kaguta Tibuhaburwa Museveni as a chief guest.
I have come that they may have life and have it in its fullness. John 10:10 is this year's theme for commemoration of St. Janani Luwum Day. Born in 1924 in Acholi land, northern Uganda, Janani Luwum was murdered in 1977 by the then regime of Idi Amin for his relentless efforts against evil practices in the country.
It is against his faith that he was murdered by Idi Amin in cold blood. So he's a man that we should remember, who did not compromise his integrity in the areas of peace and justice. He stood his faith and he died a man of faith. So we can remember him on those issues.
Janan was the second Archbishop of Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi and Boga Zaire, and the first African Archbishop to die in office.
And because of his position against the regime of Idi Amin, his death galvanized the national and international concerns in order to overthrow him, which took place 2 years after that. But also one important thing that we should know about this man, when he died, the Church of Canterbury made him a martyr. So he's recognized as one of the 20th century martyrs. And they erected a chapel in his memory in Westminster Abbey in Canterbury.
But why do Christians celebrate his life? The Director Religious Affairs, Office of the President, Reverend Canon Aaron Mwesije, urges leaders to emulate the life of the late Archbishop Jenan Luwum.
But I think the message is that we should emulate his life. If leaders in the Anglican Church have not done it, it is high time they do it. As we continue celebrating his life, we do it to affirm that his faith was second to none as far as believing in Christ is concerned and living his word is concerned. Jenan Luwum lived life in its fullness. He lived a life of integrity, and the word integrity comes from integer, and integer means whole number.
His Grace, the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, Dr. Stephen Samuel Kazimba will be the guest preacher at the function to be held Tuesday at State House in Entebbe. The guest of honor is expected to be President-elect Yoweri Kaguta Tibuhaburwa Museveni. It's now 6 years since the government declared 16th February a public holiday in commemoration of the late Jenan Luwum. Mutonyi Hilda, UBC.
Members in the transport sector, especially those conducting commuter taxi businesses, to immediately begin implementing the standard operating procedures set in curbing COVID-19. This follows the relaxation of these guidelines, which has made members of different associations in the transport sector, with the help of police, to start conducting operations on the violators of these guidelines. We have more.
The relaxation of standard operating procedures against COVID-19 in the transport sector has prompted associations and police to reinforce guidelines issued by government and the Ministry of Health. This has been disclosed by leaders of various commuter taxi associations at a press conference at Uganda Media Center in Kampala. Public Relations Officer, Kampala Operational Tax Stages Association, Moses Birungi Maweje, asserts that a tax must carry only 8 passengers, with the exception of its driver and the conductor.
So otherwise the vehicle should have 10 people, but the passengers, paying passengers, should be 8. Another thing is that we should observe the speed limit. We should not overspeed when we are carrying passengers. Otherwise we are relaxed, and we felt we might cause some problem for ourselves by compelling the government to lock us down again.
Maweje further stresses that all taxis should have sanitizers at all times, with passengers wearing face masks, and that taxi park management should ensure there are points for washing hands at all entrances. Taxi operators were urged to be mindful of the curfew hours set by government.
Should have some small tanks of water and soap for every passenger who boards to wash his or hands. Number 3, we should have sanitizer bottles in our vehicles. That's a must, that we should have sanitizer bottles, because even if somebody washed his hands or hands in the park, there are those we get on the transit.
Police spokesperson, Kampala Metropolitan Patrick Onyango, asked those using private transport not to exceed the minimum number of people they are supposed to carry.
The law that we shall use is the Penal Code Act, Section 171, which states that any person who unlawfully or neglectfully does any act which is and which he or she knows has reason to believe to be likely to spread the infection of any disease dangerous to life, commits an offense and is liable to imprisonment for 7 years.
He says police is to arrest excess passengers found in taxis during their operations.
We shall pick you the 9th passenger and charge you. We have also got information that there are people using private cars to transport passengers, yet they are not licensed as passenger service vehicles or PSV. Private cars were allowed to carry only 4 passengers, not 7.
Onyango says boda riders will also not be exempted, especially those caught carrying more than 1 passenger. These operations are to be in place until government announces that Uganda is COVID-19 free. Sudat Kai, UBC News.
UBC News tonight. Now, the Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Judith Nabakoba, has urged residents of Mityana to put aside politics and focus on developmental projects. Nabakoba was attending a Thanksgiving ceremony for NRM's Busulwa Juma, who was elected to lead Malangala sub-county.
The Thanksgiving ceremony was organized by Malangala Sub-County NRM Busulwa Juma, winner of the recent local council election. Donned in a yellow dress, the outgoing woman member of parliament for Mityana district, also Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Judith Nabakoba, presided over the event.
Abantu be Malangala mwebale nnyo mwebalire ddala temujjango ko mwebale kuwa abaami bano buvunaanyizibwa kugenda kubaweereza. Babawadde obuvunaanyizibwa nze entanda gye mbasibirira kukolera abantu, kuweereza abantu, kumanya nsonga zikwata ku bantu, kumanya ngeri ki gye tuyinza okunyweza abantu baffe ne saavisi okuva mu gavumenti okulaba ng'etuuka ku bantu baffe.
To those who are set to assume office in May this year for 2021-2026 term of office, Nabakoba noted that service above self should be a priority.
Thank God, and we thank the supporters and the voters for the work well done. They have energized us as leaders. And we want also to reassure them that Muzei is comfortably seated, waiting for his swearing in come May 12th. He's going to support Mityana. He will never cease to support Mityana. And I wanted to reassure them that we are going to be there, supporting them as their leaders in one way or another to see that NRM is grounded as far as Mityana is concerned.
As government continues rolling out communal development projects such as NADS and Operation Wealth Creation across the country, Nabakoba urges residents of Mityana not to sit back.
Kubanga ku miliyoni omwenda ze tuyina ez'amaka mu Uganda, Operation Wealth Creation yakawaako ebintu amaka emitwalo 9. Kitegeeza bye bitundu 10 ku 100. Ebitundu 9 ku 100 tebinnatuukibwako. Naye omulimu ogwo ogukola obulungi kitegeeza nti mmwe abakulembeze abagenda okubeerawo mwe mugenda okusobozesa Operation Wealth Creation ne gavumenti yaffe okubanga etuukira ddala ku muntu wa bulijjo mu maka gaffe ffenna okusobola okubeerako bye tukola. N'olwekyo tubasaba mweteeketeeke ng'ekisanja kitandise mu Meeyi okusobola okulaba nga nammwe ab'e Malangala abakola ekitundu ku Mityana district muganywamu ebyo gavumenti byegenda okuteekawo.
Mr. Busulwa Juma and others present at the function hailed Minister Nabakoba for her motherless service to the district and invited new elected leaders to pick the thread from where she stopped.
Honorable Nabakoba has done it, and by the way she has served Mityana. Because if you compare the previous MPs of Mityana, others have stayed maybe for 20 years and above. But for the case of Honorable Nabakoba, she has only served maybe just only this term for something years. Again, as you see, she has done something.
Although Judith Nabakoba lost out the Mityana district women representation seat in the recent elections, serving Mityana is still her pride. Robert Onyango, UBC News, Mityana.
Forum for Democratic Change, FDC, has distanced itself from a proposal issued in a statement by the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development imposing taxes on bank withdrawal transactions. Harold Kaija, FDC Deputy Secretary General, asserts that if Parliament approves the proposal, it will financially suffocate Ugandans who are already paying different taxes as stipulated by government. He rather advises government to cut down on the number of legislatures so that money paid for salaries and sitting allowances can be injected into limping.
Social media was awash with another proposal to charge cash withdrawals. Because we have seen so many things that have gone on without Parliament passing them, yet they are mandatory to be commanded or to take place after Parliament has allowed. We have never implemented any tax before the approval of Parliament.
Last Thursday, a letter issued by Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development asking Parliament to approve taxes on bank withdrawal transactions made rounds on social media, where most Ugandans on the digital platform were against the move. During a press briefing at Forum for Democratic Change FDC party headquarters in Najanankumbi, the party Deputy Secretary General Harold Kaija says his party strongly rejects this move due to its far-reaching ramifications once approved.
In a country that has liquidity issues, money, we call it liquidity, money issues in banks, because wherever they go, banks do not have the capacity to have the money that can sustain our economy. So then one of the major sources of money are through savings. Now you are telling people who are saving even the little, and if you are aware, most of the bank accounts are in red. Now you are asking them, the person who earns money and pays payee, and then he deposits his money on account. Then he tries, at least some of them try to pick some money. You pick a taxi. And even on that money that is in the account, there is a tax.
He explains that instead of having a bloated parliament, government should think of reducing the number of legislators who are consuming taxpayers' money. He also says there's duplication of roles in many government ministries, parastatals and departments.
Uganda that has MPs 526 with a population of 45 million. India with a billion population has 543. So we are actually overrepresented. The right thing to do, not to tax Ugandans, would reduce the administrative costs.
The party has also come out to condemn a move by the Legal Committee of Parliament, who are proposing that a 5-year elective term in office should be increased to 7 years.
That I hear, Sijui 2 years, you spend learning. Our parliament must not be a school. It must be a house where experts go to think for this country. Here's where you find someone who does not even understand his own village, issues of his village. He's becoming an MP.
Meanwhile, FDC has put in place a complaints desk in conjunction with a team of lawyers who are said to give legal help to Ugandans whose relatives were allegedly whisked away by security operatives, with some families not knowing the whereabouts of their loved ones.
We ask for names, nobody wants to give you the names. You hear people go to police, the military, nobody answers them. So as the FDC we are saying, we shall have a team here. People must be coming here in Najanankumbi. They register their people who are missing, circumstances, and the like, and give us enough details. Our team will hit the road to go and fix this mess.
Juzamba Helen Barbara, Andrew Sevilla for UBC News.
A very short break, but we'll return with more stories. Don't move an inch.
Double data. Airtel introduces double data, the biggest deal ever on smartphones in Uganda. Buy a smartphone, 3G or 4G, and get 100% data bonus from Airtel. Airtel is giving you 100% bonus data on all weekly and monthly bundles for every new smartphone connected to Airtel for the first 3 months. Dial *175*9# to enjoy double data. Double data, double data. Oh, bino bye biruma abayaye. Airtel, the smartphone network, regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
Today tastes like a new tradition, like an old favorite. Tastes like all hands on deck and all eyes on the prize. Today tastes like a piece of the action. And it never tasted this good.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Yellow, how are you? Tell me, how do you do? We're here to show some appreciation for the things you do.
Sent you for today, and they sent you for tomorrow. Sent you for every time and everywhere you go. We love you so, and we enjoy life with you. We are happy, happy, happy to know that we will go with you. That's why we say, sent you, sent you, sent you, yeah. Sent you, sent you.
Sent you for choosing MTN. Use MTN mobile money, bundles, or other services to get Sent You points. The more you use, the more Sent You points you get. We look forward to many more years together. Sent You.
Today tastes like a new tradition, like an old favorite. Tastes like all hands on deck and all eyes on the prize. Today tastes like a piece of the action, and it never tasted this good.
Your safety while using electricity starts with having a certified technician to wire your premises. Do not use Camille
socket. Chisaka, now that the wiring is complete, how do I get power?
No, I'll get you power in my own way. And you don't even have to worry about the bills. I'll bring them myself. Is your neighbor there?
She went to work.
Does she have power?
Yes, she has.
If your neighbor has power, you have power.
Desist from illegal connections because they are not only dangerous, but could lead to prosecution and death.
Chisaka, what is this? Oh my God, I'm from Umeme.
I did not say Umeme. I am from Umeme.
At Umeme, your safety is our top priority. Report illegal practices to Umeme when you detect them. Download the Umeme app for other services. Stay alert, stay safe, save lives. Umeme, powering Uganda.
Welcome back from that break, and we're glad that you're still watching UBC News at 8. Now into some business news. Raising rabbits is said to be a great source of income for unemployed people and landless farmers. Venturing into the practice has an added advantage of bodybuilding and energy-giving food values, including proteins. This is the venture that the Jimmy Bagonza family in Kasese district has embarked on, with children taking the lead role during the COVID-19 lockdown. Take a look.
It is that time of the morning when teamwork in a family means progressive business. As a sister embarks on an early morning cleaning of the shelter, a little brother is feeding these rabbits. It is something that is done here to guarantee a clean environment for proper growth of these small animals.
We start with the cleaning, whereby we collect water, but we first sweep the iron sheets, as you've observed. After sweeping the iron sheets, we'll go into cleaning with detergent.
What a good way to start the day here at Chanzo Kisero, Nyakabingo 2 ward in the Central Division of Kasese Municipality, along with his brother, Walker Arnold Police. 9-year-old Ashley Akampa, a primary 2 pupil, started it as a mere love for pets.
It's Arnold who thought of it, then told me, then we told our auntie, then she bought for us too.
We started with 2 rabbits. They were local breeds, 1 female and 1 male.
It may have started as a fun factor, as Alvin Ainebiona asserts, but it turned into a solution to redundancy during the COVID-19 lockdown. It graduated into something that was least expected, and for now, it is work in progress.
After a month, which is its gestation period, the female produced 6. Currently, of which the 6, that one is the only survivor. The rest, 2 of them were eaten, and 2 died of natural cause.
Feeding them is not that costly, as they feast on pellets, soya bean, cotton cake, animal salt, meat boosters and maize bran. The breeders are optimistic.
Our future plans are to definitely expand it around the area, making people more aware of how rabbits can easily be acquired, easily be taken care of, and how they are a potential for earning income.
This optimism did not come out of the blue. The support from their youthful mother, Halima Atuhaire, is just encouraging.
We had no idea that it will turn out to be something as big as it is trying to be now.
This, however, has not been without shortcomings. Lack of appropriate feeders and sourcing for the right breeds of rabbit still proves a challenge. But that is not all. There is also this.
Veterinary doctors have not really ventured into the rabbits. We have had problems here. We have had a few that have even got lame and died from vaccination. They similarize all their diseases to chicken, yet there are a few diseases that they do not share with chicken, like the ear canker, the sawhawk. So we try to request the veterinary doctors, as they learn, that they should also try to consider rabbits, so that when we have sick ones, we can always be able to access veterinary doctors.
These 3 boys are children of Jimmy Bagonza Police, a renowned commercial farmer in the Western District of Kasese. They are currently at different levels of education, ranging from primary to secondary. Their hopes are high that their rabbit rearing venture could soon go commercial, despite the challenges.
So much of the time, what I would want to tell parents is, let's not impose on children what we want. Let's support our children to live their dream.
Economic experts say to keep rabbits is to keep money. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Yes! Enjoy great value from Airtel with the all-new My Pakalast combo offers. We have customized especially for you the best deals on minutes, data and SMS with our 3-in-1 My Pakalast combo to give you the best value as you stay in touch with friends and family. To activate My Pakalast voice combo, dial *100 *2 *1 hash to get started.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Today tastes like a new tradition, like an old favorite. Tastes like all hands on deck and all eyes on the prize. Today tastes like a piece of the action, and it never tasted this good.
right, now let's take a look at sports news today. Uganda Hippos have beaten Mozambique 2-0 to get their AFCON Under-20 Championships campaign off to a flying start at the Olympic in Nokut in Mauritania. Now, the second half goals from Derek Akoza and substitute Steven Serrada sent the Hippos top of Group A level with Cameroon, who beat host Mauritania 1-0 on Sunday. Playing at the tourney for the first time, Molivier Kwaso's side were the better side on the day and deservedly took the lead when Alton Messias handled the ball in box for the referee to point to the spot in the 55th minute. Kakoza calmly sent the keeper the wrong way to put the champions of Sekafa into the lead. Substitute Serrada on for Ivan Bogere fired in with his shot hitting the inside of the crossbar after Mozambicans failed to deal with Najib Yega's cross for Kakoza to set the KCCA Football Club stalled. The Hippos will return to action on Wednesday against Cameroon before their last group game against hosts Mauritania on the 20th of February 2021.
Game in the tournament is not always easy. That's why even yesterday we did see a lot of goals coming. People are always nervous, scary. Taking decisions is always difficult. Players tend to panic. That's why we saw first half all teams were beat down, but due to the grace of God, we came back. We told them to play with intensity because we needed to lift our game. So intensity was the key to us. It really helped us to come back into the game.
And with that, we do come to the end of this edition of UBC News at 8. I leave you with Alex Kim Sempa with our weather. Take us to, give us a feel of what tomorrow's weather will look like. But do join me at 10 o'clock for UBC News tonight. For a 10 o'clock bulletin, I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto. Over to you, Kim.
Brought to you by...
At Umeme, your safety is our top priority. Report illegal practices to Umeme when you detect them. Download the Umeme app for other services. Stay alert, stay safe, save lives. Umeme, powering Uganda.
We are once again with the latest in weather from the Weather Center with Sempa Alex Kim. A mixture of sunny and cloudy conditions dominated our skies across the country most of the day. By 9 a.m. this morning, various parts of the country reported some rainfall, like Masindi reported 32.7 millimeters, Barara 27.9, while Kabale reported 16.5 millimeters of rainfall. The satellite look on Africa shows that there are moist winds that are coming in through the Congo forests into a region. The reason the western sector is quite active. However, along the Lake Victoria Basin, we are influenced by the local effects of Lake Victoria. Tomorrow, we do expect sunny intervals across most parts of the country, though along the Lake Victoria Basin, especially in Kampala as well as the islands, we do expect some light rainfall. Well, into the afternoon, we expect a continuation of light rainfall that will be across the Lake Victoria Basin and parts of Kasese as well as Kabale. This will influence temperatures to range between 32 degrees centigrade, that will be across the northeastern, to 23 degrees, and that will be in Kabale Highlands. And elsewhere across the globe, we are forecasting some chances of rainfall for London at cold temperatures of 11 degrees centigrade, whereas in Moscow, we do expect a continuation of falling snow at degrees well below zero at minus 12 degrees centigrade. That concludes it. Stay tuned.
Brought to you by...
At Umeme, your safety is our top priority. Report illegal practices to Umeme when you detect them. Download the Umeme app for other services. Stay alert, stay safe, save lives. Umeme, powering Uganda.
Today tastes like a new tradition, like an old favorite. Tastes like all hands on deck and all eyes on the prize. Today tastes like a piece of the action. And it never tasted this good.